Welcome guys. In this video we will see about urea cycle and its application and its clinical part, importantly the clinical part, in under 20 minutes. Okay, so let's get started. This urea cycle. So what is the introduction about the urea cycle, that just basic elimination of a toxic compound nitrogen in an not a near toxic form by the kidney. That is the cycle is called as the urea cycle. So coming to the catabolism, any amino acid where it is the amino group is removed, that amino group results in the formation of an urea and a keto acid is formed, and the carbon skeleton it is attached to it. So depending upon the carbon skeleton we can classify the amino acids into glucogenic, ketogenic and both. So I will say a trick here: just study only the ketogenic, all others just study only the ketogenic and the both, all others are glucogenic. Okay, so coming to the ketogenic amino acid, leucine, lysine, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan. Leucine, lysine, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan, it give acetyl CoA, it's a ketone body. Similarly, another one ketone body is the acetyl CoA. So same leucine, tryptophan, same ketogenic amino acid, it can give both acetyl CoA and acetyl CoA, and isoleucine and threonine. Okay, isoleucine and threonine. Isoleucine is only specific for acetyl CoA, whereas threonine it is also an glucogenic amino acid. All other amino acids are just glucogenic. Just have it that way. Just basic amino acids are always glucogenic. Example: glycine, alanine, serine, proline, histidine. Threonine, cysteine. Okay, now these are the basic amino acids. Cysteine is an aromatic amino acid. It also an glycogenic amino acid. Just have it that way. It's a simple, very simple amino acids. Okay, except that cysteine, which is an aromatic amino acid. Next, coming to the from these ketogenic amino acids we can get acetyl CoA, which in turn gives acetyl CoA, and from glucogenic amino acid we give pyruvate, and now here we have a good substrate base for the TCA cycle, and then the cycle starts, and citrate, alpha ketoglutarate is given by glutamine, proline, arginine, histidine, everything, and then succinyl CoA is given by isoleucine, methionine, valine, threonine. Isoleucine, you can say, already said that point about that is it gives acetyl CoA too, so it also gives succinyl CoA too, and then tyrosine and phenylalanine, it gives fumarate and oxaloacetate. Okay, oxaloacetate is given by aspartate and asparagine. Okay, any amino acid forming intermediate of T cycle is glucogenic. So all these other amino acids are always glucogenic. Okay, just to study only ketogenic: leucine, lysine, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan for the acetyl part, and for the isoleucine for the acetyl part, and both section we have leucine and tryptophan for the acetyl part, and threonine, it is also a glucogenic amino acid. Any amino acid which forms the intermediate of this is called as is said to be glucogenic amino acid only. Then glutamate is formed as an end product of a carbon skeleton of proline, okay, by reactions other than transamination. So glutamate, it forms the end product of transamination of an amino acid proline. That's what I'm trying to say. Glutamate is formed as an end product of carbon skeleton of proline by reactions other than transamination, not transamination, other than transamination only. Then coming to the nitrogen excretion. Okay, so nitrogen excretion, an amino acid undergoes transamination, transfer of an amino group, and it forms a keto group. And this transfer of the amino acid results in alpha ketoglutarate to glutamate conversion. Then this glutamate, when it has in another one amino group, it forms the glutamine. This glutamine is the safest form of the ammonia to get excreted, and it goes to the blood, and it goes into circulation and then into the liver, where it results in the urea formation. And first step is the transamination reaction. First reaction is the catabolism of the amino acid. Transamination reaction is the first reaction. It is a reversible reaction. It requires B6 PLP, paradoxal phosphate. It occurs through covalent catalysis that is strong covalent bond is formed. Common amino acid involved is the glutamate. Alpha ketoglutarate is converted to glutamate, glutamate to glutamine, glutamine safest form, blood to liver, urea formation. This is the basics of the transamination reaction. Next, coming to the transaminases. Transaminases are the enzymes are very specific. Okay, for example, SGOT can be used only for OA, oxaloacetate to aspartate conversion, or maybe aspartate to oxaloacetate conversion. Aspartate is in 4 carbon amino acid, oxaloacetate is in 4 carbon keto acid. Name is given after the amino acid from which the amino group is removed. Okay, so for example, aspartate undergoing transamination, so aspartate transamination. Alanine is going transamination, so alanine transaminase. So like that it happens. Okay, so by this we get oxaloacetate from aspartate, pyruvate from alanine, alpha ketoglutarate gives glutamate, and glyoxylate from glycine. Only alpha amino group can take part in the transamination reaction, and the exception is that delta amino group of ornithine. Okay, then what does ornithine give? Ornithine gives by transamination reaction by the action of delta amino transaminase, aminotransferase. It is also a reversible reaction. It also B6 required. It forms proline. Okay, it is a non-essential amino acid, ornithine. Okay, then ornithine aminotransferase is present in the liver, kidney, retina, brain. Deficiency, what it happens in brain? It causes gyrate atrophy of choroid and retina. This ornithine transaminase deficiency. Okay, so what happens? It is a rare disease, ornithine AROR, autosomal recessive. Ornithine becomes increased, proline not formed, vision lost, cataract and Draven's. Then coming to the treatment, give vitamin B6 as it induces the enzyme, restrict arginine as arginine is the source of ornithine. Arginine is broken down by arginase to ornithine and urea. I will just explain this reaction later. And then coming to the transaminases. Transaminases, they are covalently bound to coenzyme PLP with electrostatic interaction and also shift base formation. Just remember these two words, okay? By electrostatic interaction and shift base formation. So what is the shift base formation? Just one step ahead. Between aldehyde group of pyridoxal phosphate and epsilon amino group of lysine residue in the enzyme. Between and shift base interaction is the interaction between the aldehyde group of pyridoxal phosphate and epsilon amino group of lysine residue in the enzyme. That is the apoprotein here. Then coming to the ping pong mechanism of bye-bye reaction. Porosity group is modified during reaction and the first product released before the second substrate binds. It is a ping pong bye-bye. Okay. And then 17 amino acids can take part in the transamination reaction, which means that 17 amino acids can form glutamate. Rest 3 amino acids can't take part in the transamination reaction or form glutamate. What are the 3 amino acids? Polyethene, POLIthene, threonine, lysine, proline, hydroxyproline. Okay, these are the this thing. And generation of ammonia and generation transport of ammonia from the peripheral cells. So how does it take place? In the peripheral cells, amino acid undergoes transamination to form glutamate, glutamine synthase by the free amino. It forms the trapping of the ammonia. It forms the glutamine. This glutamine being the safest form, it is transported across the blood into the liver, and unglutamate in liver glutamine is acted upon by glutaminase. Glutamate is formed, and this glutamate upon dehydrogenation reaction, another ammonia group is removed, and we get by oxidative deamination we get alpha ketoglutarate. By in this process we get 2 molecules of ammonia, and these 2 molecules of ammonia enters the urea cycle, and the enzymes involved are glutaminase acts on it, forms glutamate, and it gives one ammonia, and glutamate dehydrogenase in the presence of NADP or NADP. This is the only one reaction where this both or any one of the both is necessary. It's not very much specific. NAD or NADP is converted into NADH or NADPH, and reductive product are formed, and then it gives rise to alpha ketoglutarate. This process is called as the oxidative deamination, and the ammonia formed this glutaminase action and glutamate dehydrogenase action. It enters into the urea cycle. And coming to the glutamate dehydrogenase, glutamate upon glutamate dehydrogenase action, NAD or NADH is formed. NADH enters into the ETC and electron transport chain, and ATP is generated and ammonia is removed. And activators of the glutamate dehydrogenase are the NAD, ADP, GDP, whereas the inhibitors are ATP, GTP and NADH. For the opposite direction, for example, in case of alpha ketoglutarate to glutamate, NADP is used. For the forward reaction, NAD is used. Okay, it is also a reducing reaction only. So for the forward reaction to synthesize alpha ketoglutarate, NAD is needed, whereas for synthesizing glutamate, we have to infuse more ammonia into the compound as form of glutamate from the alpha ketoglutarate. So we have to use a bigger molecule. So NADP, bigger molecule is used. This reaction can occur only in the liver. Glutamate is the only amino acid that can undergo oxidative deamination, very very important, to release amino group into the liver. Okay, then glutamine synthesis. Now we are moving in the reverse direction, glutamate to glutamine. So glutamate to glutamine, source of nitrogen free ammonia, has a role in nitrogen excretion. Aspartate to asparagine. Okay, source of nitrogen. Here is the in a glutamine, no role in nitrogen excretion. So asparagine synthetase, okay, asparagine synthetase, no role in nitrogen excretion, whereas glutamine synthetase has a role in nitrogen excretion. Okay, then coming to the in transport form of the ammonia from body to tissues is the glutamine. From brain it is the glutamine, whereas in muscles it is via the Cahill cycle by using alanine. So what happens in case of fasting muscles, undergoes glycolysis, 2-pyruvate is formed, aspartate transaminase, alanine is formed. No, I mean alanine transaminase, alanine is formed, alanine transported across the liver, alanine transaminase, pyruvate is synthesized, and gluconeogenesis from the pyruvate, glucose is synthesized, and this glucose given to the muscle. Okay, like that, like this the reaction goes. And coming to the trans deamination reaction, by one point should be kept in mind is the glutamate synthetase has a role in nitrogen excretion, asparagine synthesis no role in. Okay, whereas here in the glutamate synthesis, the substrate is the glutamate to glutamine. Okay, whereas in asparagine, aspartate to asparagine, source of nitrogen is the glutamine. Here source of nitrogen is the ammonia. That is the difference here. And deamination. So deamination, what is the deamination? It is the transamination plus oxidative deamination. Okay, source of ammonia, alpha amino group of amino acid by transamination. It is the most common and the most abundant. Porphyrins when acted upon by PPG deaminase releases ammonia. Purines and pyrimidine catabolism. So these are the source of ammonia. What are the source of ammonia? Alpha amino group of amino acids by transamination reaction. It is the most common and most abundant. And then the second, porphyrin when acted upon by PPG deaminase, porphyrobilinogen deaminasen releases ammonia. Porphyrin metabolism and purine pyrimidine catabolism also releases ammonia. And then in hyperammonia. What is hyperammonemia? What is hyperammonemia means when the alpha ketoglutarate is decreased and glutamate is decreased, the is being used up absorbing excess ammonia in any urea cycle disorder. Okay, whereas the glutamine, by formation of the glutamine will be increased in case of any ammonia disorder. Okay, what happens? So depletion of alpha ketoglutarate, so TCA cycle may be affected and ATP is not produced, brain affected first. It is very very sensitive organ to the ATP, and depletion of the glutamate. So what happens? So decrease in glutamate. So glutamate because of the decrease in glutamate, one important compound formed from glutamate is the GABA. It is also decreased by glutamate decarboxylase. It is an inhibited neurotransmitter. This results in the neurological symptoms like excitation in the brain and fine tremors. And then coming to the glutamine produced is an osmotically active substance. So it is increased in blood, increased in CNS, so cerebral edema occurs. So clubbing the clinical features of the hyperammonemia, blood glutamate decrease, blood alanine decrease, blood urea nitrogen decreases. Okay, blood urea nitrogen decreases here. Cerebral edema. So what does cerebral edema shows features like vomiting, blurred vision, fine tremors, hyperventilation, lethargy, coma, and death if not treated. Due to respiratory failure, death will come, blurred vision and slurred speech will happen. Okay. Then coming to the proper urea cycle. Urea cycle is also called as the Krebs-Hansleit cycle, ornithine cycle, not Krebs cycle. Okay, urea cycle is also called as the Krebs-Hansleit cycle, ornithine cycle. Okay, so what happens in a mitochondria? CO2 and ammonia combines in carbamyl phosphate synthetase to 2 ATP is used. Carbamyl phosphate is formed, and ornithine transcarbamylase it forms citrulline. Okay, citrulline, this carbamyl phosphate synthetase it utilizes the rate limiting step. Here it is also called as the pacemaker enzyme or the committed step. It utilizes two high energy phosphates to form carbamyl phosphate. So this carbamyl phosphate when it combines with ornithine and citrulline, in presence of ornithine transcarbamylase, it forms citrulline. This citrulline is then transported across the mitochondrial membrane and into the cytoplasm. This citrulline combines with aspartate in the presence of argininosuccinate synthetase. Okay, here on the ATP, two high energy phosphates from the ATP is being utilized to form arginosuccinate, and then arginosuccinate ligase we form fumarate. So fumarate is given to the TCA cycle, and then this arginine undergoes deamination reaction, and urea by the action of an arginase, urea is removed and ornithine is got, and ornithine is then shuttled back into the cytoplasm. So ornithine is shuttled back into the cytoplasm. It combines with carbamyl phosphate. In presence of ornithine transcarbamylase it form citrulline. Okay, so what happens means in mitochondria, just remember just 2-3 enzymes may very important here. So first enzyme CO2 ammonia, carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1, carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1, so 2 ATP is utilized here, and then carbamyl phosphate is formed. Carbamyl phosphate it combines with the ornithine, in presence of ornithine transcarbamylase it forms the citrulline, and then when the citrulline is cycled across the mitochondrial membrane into the cytoplasm, the citrulline plus aspartate it forms arginosuccinate synthetase. So arginosuccinate synthetase, here ATP it utilizes two high energy phosphates from the ATP and form AMP. Arginosuccinate is formed. Arginosuccinate ligase it forms fumarate, and arginine is released. Arginine by the action of arginase it results in ornithine. Urea is released here, and this ornithine is transported across into the mitochondrial membrane. Okay, so this is the urea cycle. Ornithine is regenerated, so it is called as the ornithine cycle. So carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1 orally are the pacemaker enzyme. So carry out a committed step of the urea cycle. Okay, so when CPS 1 is there, means what is CPS 2? Carbamyl phosphate synthetase 2 means it is involved in the pyrimidine synthesis. Only liver compartment, both in mitochondria and cytoplasm. Okay, and then coming to the ornithine transcarbamylase, it is absent in the brain. OTC deficiency is the most common urea cycle defect. Ornithine transcarbamylase is the most common urea cycle defect, whereas the rate limiting enzyme is the carbamyl phosphate synthetase on arginase, absent in kidneys. So end product of urea cycle in kidneys is the arginine itself. So major source of semi essential amino acid arginine in body is the kidney. Major source of the semi essential arginine amino acid arginine in body is the kidney, because arginase enzyme is deficient here, because arginosuccinate ligase, when it acted upon by arginosuccinate, it gives fumarate and arginine. This arginine can't be further broken down because of the deficiency of arginase in the kidney. So that is the major end product in the kidney. So that is why this amino acid is also called as the semi-essential amino acid. Okay, and then in the cytoplasm, this is glutamine combines with the ATP and the CO in pyrimidine synthesis. Just briefing about the pyrimidine synthesis here. So just small briefing about pyrimidine synthesis. So this is glutamine plus 2 ATP plus CO2, carbamyl phosphate synthetase 2, it forms a carbamyl phosphate. So this carbamyl phosphate it forms carbamyl aspartate, and then few steps happens and orotic acid is formed. formed, orotic OMP is formed, orotic monophosphate is formed, and uridine monophosphate is formed, and pyrimidine is formed. Okay, I'm just saying the basic steps, because glutamine plus ATP plus a CO2 gives carbamyl phosphate. So for this reaction, carbamyl phosphate synthetase 2 is needed here. Okay, that I want to mention here. And the comparing the difference between the CPS1 and CPS2, CPS1 mitochondria, CPS2 cytoplasm, CPS1 urea cycle, CPS2 pyrimidine synthesis, CPS1 source of ammonia is free ammonia, and the CPS2 is the source of ammonia is the glutamine. Okay, and then coming to the then coming to the bioenergetics. Okay, so what actually happens means this ammonia gives NH2 group, and aspartate gives another NH2 group, and CO is there from the CO water bicarbonate. That the NH2 CO NH2, that is the structure of the urea here. Coming to the bioenergetics, in CPS1 reaction 2 ATP is converted to ADP, so 2 high energy phosphates are utilized. In arginosuccinate synthetase, I mentioned 1 ATP is converted into 1 AMP. So here also 2 high energy phosphates is utilized. So 4 ATPs are being utilized here. When 4 is not available in the option, go to the 3 ATP. Okay. Then coming to the citrin transporter. So what is the role of the citrin here? So citrin mainly present in the mitochondria. Okay, accepted. Transport glutamate also. So citrin transport glutamate also needed for malate aspartate NADH shuttle. Okay, defect causes citrullinemia type 1. So what is citrulline here? So in case of Krebs bicycle, in urea cycle fumarate is released. That fumarate goes into the TCA cycle, and that TCA it forms aspartate, and that aspartate is necessary for urea cycle. Okay, this is the dependency here. Okay, so for the shuffling between shuffling of fumarate and aspartate between between cytoplasm and mitochondria to happen, we need a transporter that is called as the citrin transporter. Okay, citrin transporter TCA cycle intermediates like fumarate, malate, oxaloacetate and aspartate. Okay, these are useful in urea cycle also, and this citrin transporter transport aspartate from the mitochondria to the cytoplasm. Okay, so when this citrin transporter is deficient, we will get to citrullinemia type 2 is happens here. Okay, then coming to the regulation of the urea cycle. During starvation, cycle activity increases due to increased protein catabolism. Yes, during starvation, cycle activity usually increases because protein utilization becomes increased. And in case of a protein rich cycle is also increased urea cycle activity. Okay, then coming to the glutamate and acetyl CoA NAG synthase. Okay, it forms NAG synthase, and when this N-acetyl glutamate, it forms NAG synthase. It is 60 enzyme of the it inhibits glutamate with acetyl CoA. It forms N-acetyl glycosin NAG, and NAG has a positive effect on CPS, whereas this NAG has an end product inhibition over NAG synthase. It is considered as the sixth enzyme of the urea cycle. Okay, that is the only one inhibitory over NAG synthase, only end product inhibition, whereas all other amino acids will have positive inhibition only. So without activation by NAG, CPS will not work. So deficiency of NAG synthase is nearly equal to the deficiency of the CPS. So urea cycle transporter defects, citrullinemia type 2, ornithine transporter defect is the most common defect, which leads to the triple H syndrome, hyperammonemia, hyperornithinemia and homocitrullinemia. Okay, citrullinemia or citrullinuria, triple H syndrome, hyperammonemia, hyperornithinemia, homocitrullinemia or citrullinuria. Okay, then coming to the urea cycle disorder. So urea cycle disorder, we study by a disease name, enzyme deficient and substrate accumulated. I will just say one key point here. Once citrulline is formed, citrulline is the last step in mitochondria. The clinical presentation becomes very, very mild, which means that in mitochondrial forms is the most severe form. Okay, so hyperammonemia type 1, carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1. Okay, so substrate accumulated is the NH3, that is the main substrate of concern now. Okay, then hyperammonemia type 2, most common urea cycle disorder. So ornithine transcarbamylase, ornithine, when it comes from the cytoplasm into the mitochondria, it combines with the carbamyl phosphate in presence of ornithine transcarbamylase. It is the most common defect. Okay, so this is the hyperammonemia type 2. Ammonia, OMP, UMP, orotic acid, these are accumulated here, and the NH3 is the main component of the concern, and then citrulline is formed. This is the most severe forms, these two forms. And then coming to the milder forms, citrullinemia type 1. So arginosuccinate synthetase, because citrulline is acted upon by arginosuccinate synthetase in presence of aspartate to form arginosuccinate. Okay, to form arginosuccinate, here there are two ATPs also utilized now. So here also the main concern is the ammonia and the citrulline. Then coming to the arginosuccinic aciduria, arginosuccinate lyase is being deficient here. Ammonia and arginosuccinate is accumulated here, and hypoargininemia. So hypoargininemia, after all this reaction we get arginine. So arginine is acted upon by arginase. What happens is this in the liver. Okay, when it occurs in the other cells also, it is considered as another defect, urea cycle disorder. And ammonia and arginine is being defective here. And urea cycle transporter defect, citrullinemia type 2, I already said about it. Aspartate glutamate transporter across the cytoplasm and mitochondria, it is the citrulline transporter called citrullinemia type 2. So citrulline is the compound accumulated here. Triplet syndrome, autosomal recessive ornithine transporter defect, hyperammonemia, hyperornithemia, homocitrulinemia or homocitrullinuria. Okay, this is the thing associated here. So all urea cycle disorders are autosomal recessive except ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency, OTC. OTC is only X-linked recessive, that is the most common defect also. So most common is the X-linked, all others are the all others are most common only. I mean all others are autosomal recessive only. And then what this arginosuccinate lyase deficiency, AS lyase, which causes succinic aciduria, that what does this cause? It has the acid nature. So trichorexis nodosa. What is trichorexis nodosa? Brittle hair, tufted hair, habitual plucking of the hair. This is the clinical feature of the AS lyase deficiency. Then coming to the arginase deficiency. So in arginosuccinate lyase deficiency, we give clinical presentation is the trichorexis nodosa. So brittle, tufted hair and habitual plucking of the hair occurs. So coming to the arginase deficiency, arginase, so it is actually in a near physiological condition. It is actually present in the kidney itself. So it is has a least hyperammonemia. So milder symptoms, misdiagnosed as cerebral palsy. First point. Next is spasticity, progressive spasticity is seen, spastic diplegia is seen, scissoring gait is seen. 3 years. Arginase, 3 years. Progressive spasticity, spastic diplegia, scissoring gait. Okay, then coming to the treatment. So everything occurs because of the arginine deficiency only. So first line of treatment is the arginine, because in urea cycle disorder we get arginine. Okay, that is an amino acid. So that is being deficient here. So arginase deficiency. It is also a source of ornithine. So activator of the sixth enzyme, and also contraindicated only in arginase deficiency. Already high amount of arginine present in the body. So first supplement is the arginine supplementation. And coming to the acylation therapy or ammonia scavenging agent, example sodium benzoate or phenyl butyrate can be used. The sodium benzoate, it combines with the glycine to form complex hippuric acid, whereas the phenyl butyrate, it forms the phenol acetate, and this phenol acetate combines with the glutamine to form phenyl acetyl glutamate, as effective as urea. So restrict protein intake to 50%. That is the treatment modality that we have to follow it here. So by this, these are the few important points. I try to maximize my effort and cover the important sections here. So I could do in 29 minutes. Actually I could have done it earlier, but that won't make any sense. Just go through your notes, go through your structured notes 1 or 2 times, and then see this video and plug yourself in and just follow what I am saying. Whether you are able to just virtually imagine the points whatever I am saying, or maybe recall the points wherever whatever I am saying, which means that you have done your work very much correct. And it also works in a way like learning it or maybe hearing it from someone. Okay, so it just helps you in better retention and understanding. Okay, thank you and all the best.